So there are those certain stocks that you want to get into and you put it off and put it off, then the ship sails and you're not on it. And you can't get back in because the price has moved so far that you just don't know if it's going to keep going or fall. Then it goes higher and higher and you're left behind. And there's several of them, actually quite a few. What if I told you there are 2 stocks that you're going to get a chance to get into this year in 2024 at a very affordable price compared to where it's trading at right now? And I'm going to give you 1 bonus pick. So you're going to have 3 stocks that you cannot miss out on in 2024. Hey guys, Corey here. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you guys are enjoying the content, be sure to subscribe and tap the bell. This way you know when I post new videos, and be sure to give me a thumbs up as it greatly helps the channel grow. So my students and I were going over some trades and talking about debit spreads, and I brought it to their attention that there's 3 stocks this year that we are actually going to be able to get into at a very reasonable price. And we talked about a lot of really cool stuff in the Discord, and this just happened to be one of those discussions. And so I absolutely had to make a video on it so you guys could see the 3 stocks this year that are going to be pretty much unattainable going forward. Like after the year 2024, we may not get another chance to buy into these stocks again. I talked about these 3 stocks with a couple of my students, and they're really good picks. If you guys want to join my Discord community and get one-on-one coaching with me and learn to trade options better and be a part of a community that cares about one another and with like-minded people that have the same goal you do, then you guys can sign up for my Discord and one-on-one coaching. Limited spots available right there on the screen, www.investwithcorey.com. And like I said, I can only teach so many people at one time. So if you guys want to get in, now's the time. Running out of spots, only a few left, and then we're done for June. So we're going to talk about the 2 best stocks for 2024 that you cannot miss out on. Stick around to the end because you're going to get 1 bonus pick. I just want to point out that I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. I'm just here to help you guys out with strategies, tips, fundamentals, technicals, financials, as well as strategies that work best in different market conditions. However, it's ultimately up to you to decide which stocks you want to put your money into and how big of a position size you want, as it's ultimately your money. So the first stock we're talking about has a 52-week high of $3,260 and a 52-week low of $1,780. They have over 3,400 restaurants. 66 are international. We are talking about Chipotle, or Chipotle Mexican Grill. Look, you need over $330,000 for 100 shares. It is absolutely insane. Insane. Like 330 grand for 100 shares. Now, it wasn't that way a few months ago, but just to give you guys an idea of how expensive Chipotle is, I would have to use $1 million in my large portfolio, which is like 70% of that portfolio, to have 300 shares. There is no way I would put 7 figures into one company for just 300 shares. That is insanity. Like, ridiculous. 300 shares would be $1 million, like just shy of $1 million. So how in the heck are you going to be able to afford to get into Chipotle? Like, how is that even going to be possible? Well, good news for you guys, 50-to-1 forward split, because remember, a reverse split is when you take a lot of shares and combine them to increase the value so you don't get delisted from the NASDAQ exchange. However, a forward split is when you take shares and divide them into less expensive and more smaller shares. So if you have 100 shares and it happens to be 100-to-1 forward split, you would have 1 share. In the case of Chipotle's 50-to-1, if you had 100 shares, you would have 2 shares. So that's pretty crazy, right? Well, it's good for us because now you're going to be able to get Chipotle for $62 a share. So instead of needing $330,000 to get into Chipotle, you're only going to need about $6,000, which makes it incredibly cheap. And now I can afford to go ahead and buy 5,000 shares of Chipotle. It is crazy that they had to do a forward split of 50-to-1 just to get the price to $6 grand. Because right now it's at 330 grand. That is insane. Actually, right now it's like 320 grand. Still insane. I mean, even if it was a 250,000 for 100 shares, that's still beyond crazy. So this forward split is going to take place on June 26th. So don't miss out on this, because that day Chipotle is going to be right around $60. Could be a little lower, could be a little higher, but that is a chance to get in. You don't want to miss out on this at all. The next stock that is doing a really big split is the biggest AI right now, NVIDIA. NVIDIA has a 10-to-1 forward split going on. Stock price right now is a little over 1,000, or actually I think it's like 1,100 right now. And with the 10 to 1, we're looking at a price of around $110, somewhere between $90 and $120, depending on what goes on with the stock, giving us a prime opportunity to enter this stock at a pretty reasonable amount of money. Their net sales tripled to $26 billion. And their data center revenue surged 427%. Undeniably, the catalyst for NVIDIA is AI, specifically the A100 and H100 GPUs. They power split-second decision-making needed in high-end data centers with generative AI, which is also training large language models, LLMs. So all those people that say LLMs are really important, well, NVIDIA's way beyond that. NVIDIA's GPUs account for 90% of the GPUs utilized in AI data centers. NVIDIA is undoubtedly the beneficiary of demand crushing supply. NVIDIA, even though they had TSM or Taiwan Semiconductor Company increase the output of their memory modules, NVIDIA is nowhere near meeting the demand from consumers and businesses around the world for their GPUs and AI, which is the reason why they were able to increase their gross margin by 78%. So this is a really big opportunity for us to at least get a chance to get into NVIDIA for around $10,000. Get 100 shares for 10 grand. So if you have a $100,000 portfolio, then you can safely own 100 or 200 shares, maybe 300, but it's a lot better than nothing. So I wouldn't let this opportunity go. This is coming up here real shortly. The forward split date for NVIDIA is June 6th, which is next Thursday at 4 p.m. So on Friday, that will be your chance to buy NVIDIA around $100 a share. This is another opportunity, just like Chipotle. We got to get in now as soon as the split happens. But you got to be very careful because the market could pull back. So we could see the split happen. NVIDIA goes to $120 a share, then it pulls back to like 100 or 90. We have to be very careful of that. That's a very big possibility. And you wouldn't want to spend 120 and then a week or two later it goes to 100 and then you're out, $20 or $2,000 for every 100 shares. You got to be really careful with NVIDIA because it's really volatile. And Chipotle does not have the volatility that NVIDIA does. So if you're looking at buying one of these stocks, then it might be Chipotle because it's going to be cheaper by $40 and it has less volatility. AI growth is huge. However, Chipotle has grown exponentially as well, and they're in the restaurant business and people got to eat. And if you have good policies, good food, and good prices, it's going to be impossible to beat that either. Unless, of course, AI takes over the world and turns us all into robots and we don't need to eat anymore. Maybe Chipotle will be in trouble at that point. I don't know. But the way I look at it, Chipotle is probably the safer buy. I'm not saying you're going to make more money on Chipotle. What I am saying is it's less volatile and safer with still good margins for growth. I mean, if Chipotle goes back to $1,000 a share and you get in at 60, you just 10x, actually 20 extra money, almost like 18 or 19 extra money. So that's really good. And it's likely to happen in the next 5 years. And the same thing with NVIDIA. Okay, guys, it's time for the bonus pick. Number 3. This is the bonus pick that I want to hit you guys with. It doesn't get as much love as Chipotle or NVIDIA, but it's happening. And no, it's not Walmart, even though they did do a forward split. That's a pretty good stock. But this one is a little bit more affordable. Talking about Sony. In October, Sony is going to do a 5-to-1 forward split, dropping the price from $82 a share to around $16 a share based off the current prices. So you'll be able to get in pretty cheap, $1,600 for 100 shares. I would definitely do that. Sony's a good company, and it's the first stock split in over 24 years. There's also been an increase in sales for the PlayStation Plus subscription, which allows you to save your data and upload it to the cloud, download it from the cloud, and back up your PlayStation. And it also allows you to play online with your friends and in social networks. And it also allows you to play multiplayer with your friends online and engage socially with them. Sony's image sensors are also second to none, and they're now being put into smartphones, and they're doing really good. The sales have been really strong for Sony. My background is in film, video, and music production, and I can tell you guys that Sony's image sensors and cameras are some of the best. They're pretty much going to take over the smartphones at some point. And They make sensors for Apple. They make sensors for Samsung. They've also got their own phone. And not only that, PlayStation is huge. And they're constantly adding to the PlayStation catalog and the games themselves. They got a new console coming out. So it would be really smart at $16 a share to buy a couple hundred shares of Sony. Because I could see Sony in the next 2 to 3 years going from 16 back up to around maybe 30 or 40. This could be a 3 or 4x return. But at $16, Sony is a no-brainer. In fact, Sony was at $50 like 6 months ago, and now they're at 82. That should tell you something. Actually, my mistake. Sony was at $62 about a year ago, and now they're up to $82. They are a strong buy, and their one-year price target with different analysts across the board is $105. Post-split, that's going to be more like $22, $21, $16 to $21 or $22 in a year. There you go. 20% return in a year plus juicy covered calls. This could be a really good investment. So Sony is the third and final pick and the bonus pick for you guys. And I really think Sony is a good pick. I really do. Let's look at the financials of these three companies. You can see Sony's a strong buy. They beat in the earnings except one time. And we're going to go ahead and look at the financials. $23 billion in revenue, gross profit $5 billion, operating income $146, pre-tax income $1.86, and net income $1.27. Yikes. They make a lot of money. They're doing really good. $3.5 billion EBITDA. Balance sheet, net debt, $13 billion in debt. But they have $238 billion in assets, liabilities $185, total equity $52 billion. Wow. Very, very good. A little bit of debt though. Cash flow $15 billion. Free cash flow $14 billion. Pretty good. So much better. Let's go ahead and look at Chipotle. $2.7 billion for revenue. Gross profit $658 million. Operating income $453 million. Pre-tax $460. Net $359. EBITDA $537. Balance sheet $2.76 billion in debt, $9.2 billion in assets, liabilities $6 billion, their equities $3 billion, pretty strong. Cash from operating activities $569 million, $436 free cash flow, very strong. 1 year price target $32.72. Not much growth, I guess, there, except for like, you know, what percent would that even be? Oh my God, like not very much, like 1 or 2%, 4.58%. That's not too bad. Not, it doesn't. The analyst rating, I guess, is not as good as Sony, but I see it with the forward split being a lot better. Let's look at NVIDIA. Beating every earnings like crazy. Wow. NVIDIA's nuts. Cash flow, $14 billion cash flow, 15 from operation activities. Balance sheet, $65 billion. Assets are definitely way higher than liabilities. $22 billion for the liabilities. Total equity, $42 billion. They're sitting on $15 billion in cash. $26 billion for total revenue, gross profit $20 billion, $16 billion operation income, pre-tax $17 billion, net income $14 billion. Yikes. EBITDA $17 billion. Look at the growth. They're demonstrating huge growth, but the problem is the bubble's got to burst at some point, which means because of this amount of growth, when you buy in now, if it goes down, it could go down a lot. You could lose everything. It's really hard to say. In my opinion, Chipotle and Sony are better because they're cheaper and they haven't hit their growth potential fully yet. There's no telling where this bubble bursts. That's the only problem. But I was talking with my students in the Discord today about this, and this is really the big three: Sony, Chipotle, and NVIDIA. Personally, Sony's really the juiciest one because it's $16 a share come October, and Sony's got a lot of growth potential. You know, you could see Sony at $40 or $50 in 3-4 years. 16 to 50 is a lot. It's like 4 or 5x return. Very good. And I think NVIDIA has a lot of potential, but I just don't know where that ceiling's going to be. That's the only issue. Chipotle Mexican Grill is also really good. Lots of growth, lots of potential. Very expensive right now, but very affordable once they do the forward split at the end of June. So this is in between. I say Sony's the best, then Chipotle, and then NVIDIA last because we don't know what's going on with NVIDIA. I'm not saying it's bad. You got to be very cautious and do your due diligence. You really do. But Chipotle is also really good. So we're going from $3,200 to $60. NVIDIA's going from $1,100 to $110, and Sony's going from $82 to $16. And we talk about this every day in the Discord. All these great topics, we're learning from one another. I'm teaching my students which stocks to buy, which options and strategies to run. If you guys want to be a part of that Discord and that community with like-minded people, and you want me to coach you one-on-one, then now is the chance. I've got some slots still available in the one-on-one coaching and full training course at my website right there, investwithcorey.com. Go sign up. Time's time's running out. I'd love to have you guys, but I can't teach everyone, so I have very limited slots available. But we talk about all this kind of stuff in the Discord all day, every day. You guys will be able to ask me any questions you want, and I will teach you the best I can one-on-one to help you become a profitable trader. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe and tap the bell. I've got a lot of content coming. I want to teach you guys a lot of different strategies, as well as go over different stocks in this market that's really crazy, and the ones that I think are the best. High five to everyone who took my HIMS, Rivian, Robinhood, Palantir, SoFi, and Neo trades over the past month and a half or 2 months. We've been making some really great profits. So you guys are really doing a good job. I'm proud of you. And to all my students in the Discord that are watching the videos every day, thank you so much. And I will see all of you guys on the next video, but don't be sad. I've got another video for you, and I picked it out especially for you guys, and I know you're going to love it. And it's right here. This video right here, you're gonna love. It's the top massive stocks, 5 of them that you need to buy in 2024. Click that link right here. You guys are gonna love it. Guarantee it. Remember guys, till the next video, let's grow our wealth together. Take care and click the link.